All right. Welcome, everybody, to the January edition of the Tuesday Boylston Swiss tournament. My favorite tournament. My favorite tournament! And I'm going to have a few different notes in this video, the beginning portion. Number one, I am not playing in the open section anymore. I showed up the club tonight, and I talked to Steven. He was kind of doing the pairings, and I said, hey, Steven, because I was supposed to play 2100 or 2000 plus player. I said, just throwing it out there. If you need me to, mix and match, make numbers equal, I don't mind dropping down to the other section. And he said, great. We actually have an odd number. That would be perfect. And I said, all right. I said, and if the event, that doesn't happen, you can keep me in the top section. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So, and what I learned is Mike Brown, we both actually exited the tee at the same time. We were just on different carts. We then walked to the club together. And he told me that he's actually taken 0-point buys before. So in the open section, Mike Brown has a very similar rating as me, where clearly he's very favored and very good in the middle section, but one of the weakest players in the top section. And that's no shade. I think that's very factual. Is he said that basically he's taken a lot of 0-point buys. And what that means is rather than necessarily playing like someone who's 2100, which is probably, I'm going to be honest, not a great learning experience because although my rating is now north of 600, and it's actually keeps climbing, I think that there's a huge level difference between myself and a 2100 player. I don't think there's much of a difference between myself and an 1800 player. That's the way I'll put it. Nonetheless, so what he said is he's done that so that he's kind of tried to angle to play some of the lower people in the open section. And I think the next time I do that, that's what I'm going to do. So number one, I'm actually back in the U1900. Is what it is. Steven gave me the full point because I beat Glenn as the side game. It was basically like, playing in the midsection. So I'm on track to possibly money again or win the tournament. Number two, I did the tournament director course. I asked on Discord, how difficult is it? Because they would keep looking for somebody to run Thursday night games. I said, let me look into this. How difficult could this be? And it turns out it's really not difficult at all. It was like a 2-hour course, safe sport, learning about harassment, hazing, abuse. It's one of these courses where they have you do it so they can kind of cover their own asses, legally speaking. Did I learn anything? Not really. It was only $18, and I'm now an official, sanctioned, local tournament director, which is fantastic. I will say that my hope or the idea is that I'm going to be actually running another Dungeons & Dragons game on Thursdays, but it's going to be every other week. So I'm hoping that I then can run club play every other week at Boylston, and that would be perfect. Because I think I mentioned I love this Tuesday night tournament. I'm not crazy about the multiple games in a day, and I really don't like sort of waking up early for like a quad or $15 tournament, especially when the games are just hour long rather than 90. So to me, playing the once a day on like a Tuesday night and oftentimes on Thursday is like perfect. That's the amount of chess I want to play if I play every Tuesday and every other Thursday. That's like 75 classical games for the year. That's exactly what I want. Sign me up, buddy. Count me in. And so hopefully I can start doing that. Hopefully sometime in February. I'll keep everyone updated. If I'm going to be tournament directing a tournament, should be cool. It's not even really a tournament, it's just club play. Just you play the games. You play the games that are in front of you. So that's number two. Number three is I started this past Monday teaching chess at the Dorchester Boston Public Library. It was so rewarding. It was great. I'm going to be doing that every other week as well. And I loved it. It was great. I think the people loved it. We had 6 people attend. I played an elderly lady named Anne. I kicked her ass. Actually, she wasn't a beginner. She kind of knew what she was doing. I will say everyone else's power level or strength, they were all beginners. They knew how the pieces moved, but I'm going to be honest, nothing else really beyond that. But Anne actually was not a beginner. So actually she posed a little bit of challenge. And then I crushed her. But she was very thankful. And honestly, I was able to teach some concepts. I gave people some tips and hints as their games were going on. And it felt great. I think everyone had a good time. I'm really happy with the turnout. I think 6 people in a library like that, perfect. All right, and if any of you want to, drop by, it's Mondays 6 to 7:30 in the Lower Mills Dorchester Public Library, and I'm the instructor. So that was super cool. All right, I think that's all the news that's fit to print. I'm back in the U1900, and I'm on board 1 for it because I got the win, or they gave me a point, and I'm playing against Tyler Berry. Tyler Berry. I'm assuming he's slightly younger than me. He said he was from Somerville, and I'm obviously a Cambridge guy, so there's that heated rivalry. And his rating is about 1710. He said that he had taken a bit of a break. He's back to playing. He won his game last week. And other than that, I obviously know nothing about my opponent. I had no prep. And the nice thing is he knew nothing about me. We made a joke where we were sitting down listening to announcements. The board to my right, we're talking about the Slav. Matthew Wesley was talking about the Slav. In fact, I think I'm going to be playing him next week. At least that's what the pairing says tentatively. And I said, Tyler, are you going to play the Slav? And he's like, I don't play the Slav. Not in like a standoffish way, but more like, don't worry, we won't be playing that. And we didn't play that. So I was like, okay, he's not a Slav player. For the record, I don't mind playing against a Slav, but I don't know if you guys remember, but my last Slav game, I think the tournament game, we got like, I just couldn't break down. I just couldn't. Actually, the last time I played it, I think it was against Nate Jones, where he played the Slav against me, and we had a pretty accurate game where the whole game was unquestionably boring, and I just could never really get anything out of it at all. It was like blood from a stone. And I guess that's kind of the point of a Slav. Very, very drawish opening, and as long as you don't fall asleep at the keyboard, you'll do fine. All right, I think it's time we get into the mechanics. As usual, I did not analyze this game. I think I made a bit of an opening mistake slightly, which is disappointing considering how much time I spent on the opening. But we have a really interesting game for you guys tonight. I did my preamble, 6 minutes in. All right, great. Let's get into the moves. I play d4. For the record, I'm pretty much a d4 player only. Well, d4 only player. I think in all my games I played a non-traditional d4 once, and I regretted it. I got a bad opening, a bad game, and I lost against a weaker player than me. And until I play people many times, like Justin, for example, is a guy I played a bunch of times, and he keeps playing, odd stuff against me. I think until somebody has, super prepped, and, I know that they've prepped, and I know going in that they're going to be prepared, that's the only time I'm going to whip out my alternate. Now, what is my other opening that I've been practicing? Is it e4? Possibly. Is it c4? Possibly. Is it knight c3? You guys know I was working on that a little bit. Is it knight f3? Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to tell you guys. Eventually, I'll play it, and then I'll be like, haha, I kept this a secret. But there is another opening I've been playing. All right. Anyway, against d5, we're going to get what is known as the Queen's Gambit. There are 3 very, very common moves here. They are by far the most common. There is c6, which is the Slav. He said he doesn't play that. There is e6, which is the Queen's Gambit declined. You're like, I ain't going to do that. And then there's taking the pawn, which is known as the Queen's Gambit accepted. At my level, for whatever reason, literally nobody takes the pawn. Nobody. Online, pretty high blitz. By the way, I got a career high bullet rating on chess.com. I'm really, really thrilled. Actually, I've just, across the board, I've been, spiking it. My bullet rating is back really, really high, actually. I faced the Queen's Gambit accepted against, stronger players, I think, a lot more. And it's because it's a little bit more combative. For whatever reason, over the board, nobody wants to play it. So believe it or not, I've only gotten the one Slav. The Nate Jones was the first one. 0 Queen's Gambit accepted, which means everybody and their mothers is playing the Queen's Gambit declined. And believe it or not, that's exactly what Tyler Berry did. By the way, I made a joke to my fiance. Anyone who has a first name as a last name, you always got to be a little bit wary of them. I don't know why. Anyway, Tyler's his whole thing during the game, I think I don't know what to think about his play style. He was very contemplative. In the beginning, he moved with a lot of confidence. He knew what he was doing. And then as soon as it got to, the thinking areas, I had 2 incredibly deep thoughts this game. I'll point them out where I spent a long time, and I mean a long time. Maybe the longest thinks of any games I've played. But most moves I played almost immediately. That's kind of my own cadence. Especially in the opening where I know what I'm doing. Tyler was, confident that he whipped out the first few moves in, 2 minutes. But then every other move, he didn't move instantly until he got incredibly low on time. And I'll speak about that more often. So he kind of had this cadence where he would spend a couple minutes on every single move, almost. And it was an interesting rhythm where, it got to the point where I actually would move and then I'd go up and, make tea or something. I had 2 cups of tea during this game. Believe it or not, I had to pish-posh quite a lot. No, I just went to the bathroom, I think, once or something like that. Anyway, and I like the word pish-posh. That's one of my pet words. All right, I played knight f3. For the record, knight c3 is also very, very common. Those are the 2 most common moves. You can also take the pawn, by the way. You could play an early e3. There's some funny and funky queen moves, but whatever. I play what I play. I am Popeye. And all my systems flow from this move. It's a very key move to me. And the reason why is a lot of times I like putting my knight actually on d2, which is why I don't like playing on c3 early. So I've kind of gone away in the first few months where I was playing knight c3 right away, and I found out that I actually have more success with knight f3. Anyway, he mirrors knight f6. all this is theory. I break theory slightly. It's not really breaking theory. This is just the Catalan. You guys have now seen me play the Catalan a lot. I really like the Catalan. It's really complicated, and to be honest, even though I played it so much, I still don't think I'm playing it that well. But I'm getting better at it, and I'm starting to really feel the positional ideas. Like it's really coming to me. It's calling to me, and I know the Catalan's good, and it's the kind of position or kind of setup where like I know that I can get a solid position where I have positive ideas and a few tricks and traps, and that's why I've been going into this. That's why I'm so comfortable here. Not that it's like anything special. Anyway, when I play G3. He actually takes, and this I believe is the best computer move. And it's funny because most people don't do this. Most people mirror. They play G6, and then obviously I finchetto, they finchetto, and then I'm able to take the pawn. That's like my theory. That's where my training ends. And I know once I take, depending on what they take with, there's a few responses, and then after that, I'm on my own. After that, I'm playing chess. But he surprised me by taking. And I know that this is in my notes. In fact, I was going to. If I show my Google Drive, I'll show some of the openings that I've been working on. So now I actually feel like I shouldn't reveal opening prep. But I know in my notes I have this exact position, and I think I'm supposed to play an early knight e5 here, and I don't. And I think that's what's in my notes, and I will check it after the game. And so I kind of feel like this is the one bad thing about moving very, very quickly in the opening. I know the opening, but I also kind of like splooge this out, and I'm pretty sure that this is the move, knight e5, to immediately target. And if they play an early b5, this is horrible. Obviously, then bishop g2 is coming with like a ton of pressure. Oftentimes, they then play knight d5 themselves, but I then play a4, and that's what you want in the Catalan. Like, you have so many tricks. Again, then you're shooting even with this knight fork potentially. He can never develop his knight. Blah, 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 blah. You guys can get the point. Anyway, I moved a little too quickly, and I realized that I think I made a slight mistake. I also know in my notes that there's a line where you actually sacrifice 2 pawns as white. 2 of them, not just one, and white is still, like, solidly better. Like, plus 0.5, plus 0.5, plus 0.7 despite being down 2 pawns. So it is in my notes that there is a situation where I can sack 2 pawns. So I just know that this is not a big deal to take this back right away. However, I assumed when I played the bishop here, I don't know why I assumed this because this is such a natural move. I assumed he was just going to just develop his bishop, not there because then I just take. I assumed he was either going to play bishop e7 or the check with bishop e4. Now in my notes I have that as well. You just simply block. It's actually more accurate to go knight c3 slightly, but I like the bishop check just to get out of the way because it's not a great piece, and then I'm able to develop the knight to that square, which is where I want it, immediately retargeting the pawn, and then we go from there, and white's slightly better. And it's very typical for them to develop the bishop to e7. I think there's nothing wrong with it. It's more passive, but it's also fine. And he surprised me by playing c5. And I know this is a move, but the problem is there's only so many positions in a day I can study, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. So this was my first think of the game. So I'm on move 6. I've spent 1 minute so far, and I spend like 5 minutes here because I know in a lot of Queen's Gambit accepted, there's interesting queen a4 check, and basically depending on what they block with, I mean, mostly, you then can very naturally just take on c4. And then you're threatening to take the c-pawn. They typically take. You can either take towards the center, or you can ignore it and just castle. And I know all those positions are fine, but I felt a little bit queasy because I felt like I messed up. Anyway, I just made those calculations. I also know that actually knight c3 here is also still an idea. And if he takes, we have some knight jumps. Again, this diagonal is still a big, big threat. So despite being down a pawn, white has tactics and pressure, so it's like a fine pawn to be down. But at the end of the day, I then check. I hate being down pawns. This is something I'm still getting more comfortable with, especially in classical. He plays bishop d7, which I think is fine. Thought my move is forced. I take the pawn. I'm blitzing this out. He then plays what I thought was the natural move, b5. It's coming with tempo. He's attacking my queen, and I drop to c2, which I thought was the natural square. In a lot of Catalan systems, that's where you want it. And I thought when we arrived at this position, I had made a bit of a boo-boo, a bit of a mistake, because I didn't like my position. He plays knight a6, and the reason why I don't like it is knight b4 is coming with tempo, and it's actually a lot of threat. He also has ideas, not just of taking, but squirreling away his rook to c8, and he dodges all of these funky, again, tactics that I have as far as opening up. For example, it doesn't even work. If I play knight e5 here, yes, I can win the bishop pair, but then he develops the rook where he wants it. He's kind of lining up on my queen. It kind of goes takes. He might take back with the knight. I thought it was more I could take back with the knight. and I'm in trouble. So this is the second spot. I did a mini think, and I probably spent 5 more minutes here. And I thought to myself, taking is probably not great. He can then develop his bishop in this position. He'd be lasering down. He might have some tactics like sacrificing on f2. Obviously, he's going to swing his rook behind. He's got the c file, and I'm not really that much closer to castling. So I didn't like this. So at the end of the day, I then decided to just play bishop d2, and my thinking was this. I thought that I wanted to play a3, basically take away the b4 square for any like fuckery, essentially. But I thought this was too slow, and too many of my pieces are underdeveloped, especially because like he comes in with tempo, you know, like here. I thought that I'm forced to take, because if I don't take, he, in all his lines, he can actually take, and he's immediately attacking me anyway. Like, if I was castle, I thought this was super dangerous for me. Super dangerous, because I can't immediately recapture the pawn, because my queen is So I didn't like this position at all. I thought this was trash for me. So I played the bishop, I developed it, thinking that, of course, this takes away any, like, interesting or maybe dangerous queen moves. Obviously, if he moves his knight, I just rip it off, takes, and he has these double pawns. Maybe it's not a big deal if I have file there, I have another escape square. I don't know. It just made sense to me. I'm sure that this is a fine developing move, but now I'm playing by myself without the. I'm not playing from the computer lines, so I have to actually think, and that's kind of what I came up with. Is I want to develop a piece. I really wanted to stop knight b4, and I wasn't worried about him taking here, as you can imagine. Because if he now takes, I actually love this position, because now I'm taking, I am opening up. Obviously, he can go here, and I thought there were a lot of places I could put my queen, and this isn't so bad. I thought, actually, I would probably put it on b3. This is strong, and I'm actually immediately attacking this pawn. He might have to, like, move back or something. And, again, all is well in the world. Those were my calculations, if you will. Anyway, he plays rook c8, and, I'll show the move I played first. I played d-takes, because I was thinking about castling, just getting safe, and I thought that if he now attacks me anyway, I am running out of low-end squares for where I developed the queen, and I was kind of worried, If I move it to d3 here, obviously, he could takes. I don't know. This is really tender me. I don't really have a lot of places to put my knight. I don't know. I didn't fancy this position. Instead, I just took myself, thinking that I would rectify, kind of clear the air. We get a very symmetrical position, and I just thought I was going to be a little bit worse. I thought his best move, believe it or not, was knight takes, but he goes bishop takes. Bishop takes on c5, and all of a sudden, 10 moves in, I've used very little time. He's thought, again, like 2 minutes a move. We'll say he consistently thought for a couple minutes a move. So he's already used like 20 minutes. I've used maybe 10. I don't like my position. He's got this tactic, sacrificing, oh no, boom, and then, uh-oh, I lose my queen. So obviously I've got to do something about that. It's not really an option to move here, because he still could then just take. So I'm pretty sure I have to move my queen here. And I wasn't sure where the best place to move my queen was, but I kind of thought, all right, this position looks a little bit worse for me. He's got the bishop pair. But we have symmetrical pawns. He's not castled yet. I assumed he would castle one of these moves. Let's just centralize my queen in a place where I am potentially threatening to trade queens, just accept that I got nothing out of the opening. And maybe long-term, because I was thinking about his weakness, that this knight is on a6, not really doing anything. That maybe there'd be some lines, like I'm pinning his pawn, he can't quite push it, that my queen would be active here. By the way, I thought I wanted to mention this, but I still do. So I like watching Hikaru Nakamura a lot, his YouTube videos and whatnot. He's super entertaining. But just recently, I had almost never watched any Daniel Naroditsky, sad, rip, all that stuff. But I just started watching some of his videos, and oh my god, this dude is by far the best teacher ever, like chess teacher ever. So strongly recommend Danya's videos. I've been slowly watching them back. He teaches, he's like, Hikaru is super entertaining and obviously incredibly good player, but Daniel Naroditsky is, and I've watched a lot of various chess chess content, because I'm curious and I'm excited and I like learning, but no one is even close to him, actually. I'll go that far. There's a few people who are very entertaining, some people that are slightly more entertaining, but no one comes close to the quality of his content. So I've been really enjoying it. Unfortunately, he plays way different stuff than me, at least the speed runs that I've been watching. So he's been playing like all Sicilians. I don't play Sicilian at all, but so maybe that's not useful. But his meta. So one thing that he keeps saying is like, you want to look at the weaknesses in the position and think about how you're attacking. And I thought, all right, my opponent's position is probably slightly better here. So when I did my think, he's got the double bishop. It's very symmetrical, and I'm slightly underdeveloped because this knight on b1 is not in the game yet. He hasn't castled, but neither have I. So I'm kind of like a move behind, a tempi. The only weakness I really could see is that his knight is out of play. It's really awkward. So I should probably try to like maybe put long-term pressure on that. So that was my thinking with centralizing my queen to d3. He immediately fixes mistake. He plays, or not even mistake, but he fixes his weakness. And this is something I taught actually at the library on Monday. I told Anne, because she had a weakness, I said, oftentimes it's really good if you can trade off your weakness, you better your position. Because she had a backward pawn, and I kind of explained what that was. In any event, night before, obviously attacking my queen. I thought trading was obvious and necessary. She took back with her bishop. And the reason why, when I calculated this line, is I thought I'm finally developing my knight, and I'm doing it in such a way, obviously blocking the check, that it's like a natural development. And I just accepted here that Tyler's position was a little bit better. I thought, obviously, he can maybe push these pawns. He has a little bit more space than me. He has the double bishops in a slightly open position. Obviously, both C and D file are open. At the moment, he controls the C file. At the moment, but I'm going to fight for it back. So I kind of just accepted. I made peace that I kind of messed up along the way. I wasn't sure how I messed up, but I would just play a position where I kind of bungled the opening. It happens, you kind of just gotta grip and dip and keep. The big advantage is I've already built like at this point 15-minute advantage. Tyler plays queen c7, and it's slightly interesting because I don't know if you guys can tell, but he actually has a funny queen sacrifice to win the game. If I don't do anything with my king, he could check, I would take back, and then, checkmate. So obviously I have to stop that. There's a few ways to stop it. I could play like queen b3, because then you'd be able to retreat the queen, trade everything off. And there's a few moves, like obviously I want to play a3. I want to kick this bishop, but then I get checkmated. So I thought the best way to resolve that is just to castle. Finally get my king safe. I'm giving him the file. I'm giving him everything. His position is just slightly better. I'm slightly uncomfortable. My Catalan bishop is not doing anything. Daniel Nidisky uses a term, biting on granite. My bishop is certainly not biting on granite. It has all these squares, but it has literally no target, which is a problem. I actually thought long-term, the A and B files were more powerful for me because I control the A8 square. So I actually wasn't that worried about him pushing his pawns. Slight long-term positional idea. So I actually thought in the long term, if we traded off the major pieces, that I would actually, or maybe not the major pieces, some of them, he could never put a rook behind the A pawn. So I actually thought that maybe that made me in good shape if we got to an endgame. I know it's like looking in the future. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what I thought. Anyway, Tyler's playing a great game. And by the way, the move that I was afraid about here is I thought in this position he should play bishop c6. I thought this was really powerful. And the reason why is I'm kind of forced to trade the queens off. And I thought, trade, I can't castle. And that's a big deal because this is defended with a knight. But if I castle, I only have one defender. He'd be able to take and win, material. So I thought in this line, what I calculated is I have to play like rook d1. And he just has all the play in the world. His bishops are strong and open. My pieces are tongue-tied. I'm trying my best to castle. Like maybe slowly I can force him back with like a3, b4. But I'm going to be honest, I thought that he was better. Clearly better. However, he chose to go in this order, which let me castle, and now he plays bishop c6, and I was like, yes, he blundered. I'm in, baby. I'm in. Very quickly, I play ac1, rook ac1, and the idea now is, holy shit, he's pinned. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of not here, by the way, but there's tactical ideas, like sacrificing on b5, it opens up to his queen. Various like knight e5 doesn't quite work in this position, but then that I can take that with check because he hasn't castled yet. Even some moves like knight d4 I was looking at, again just trying to pressure this bishop, and then I can take with the rook, attacking his queen. Basically, he blundered, he self-pinned his queen, horrible move, and immediately I went from kind of being slightly disgruntled and unhappy in my position to thinking, oh baby, let's let the Robmeister do his thing. Trying to include some of my more calculations or some of the moves I was thinking about, but I was trying to play on a flow. I thought his only move, not the only move, I thought he had two moves here. I thought he had queen b7, and I thought that he also had knight d5, for the record. He thought for a long time. He was kind of stuck. I think he realized his mistake. When like people do that, they're like, well, whoopsies, I made a mistake. And he takes first. Yeah, he can also take. I mean, so for the record, I thought this was a move. I thought this was a move. Obviously, and taking is a move. I'm trying to think if there were other moves I saw for him. I don't think he can afford to castle here. I don't think so, because then I open up with all these tactical ideas. Anyway, he takes first. And obviously, I thought this was good for me. I thought so, because when I take back with the knight, I thought momentarily when I take with the queen, that didn't make much sense to me. Now, again, I have him totally lasered in, and he's in trouble. Or at least I thought he was in trouble. You know, we all think what we think. So I go knight takes on d2. I'm opening up. I have this beautiful pin. His queen is underneath. And now I thought that his two moves were kind of forced. Now I thought he had to play either knight d5 or queen b7. I wasn't sure what was best, to be honest. However, I'll show you guys what I know what I was going to do, but I'll show you first what he played. So move 17, he played knight d5, so he blocked here. I thought this was less accurate. I thought that he should have gone queen b7, which is what he does. Shoot, I just wrote that wrong move down. Rook ace c1, boom. Bishop takes on d2, knight takes on d2, queen b7. He plays queen b7 here. So he plays queen b7. You know, it is what it is. And here, this is where, okay, this is the spot where I thought he should have played. Yeah, that's what happened. I thought he should have played knight d5. Yes. I thought he should have played this move. And honestly, I thought I was going to take. He has to take with the pawn because, as you can tell, otherwise he loses his queen. And I thought this was just good for me. I'm kind of ripping open his position a little bit. He's still pinned, and I have ideas, possibly, maybe things like this. I'm not sure. Maybe even e4 to take. I thought you have to kind of like get out of this, and ripping up his center. I'm just trying to, again, take advantage of the fact that he hasn't castled yet. Like, that's a big thing, and the fact that he's self-pinned. However, when he plays queen b7, I thought for more than 20 minutes in this position, 25 minutes in this position, guys. I thought for 25 minutes. And the reason why is, at first, I calculated, okay, if he, at first I calculated, okay, I need to take. And then I thought maybe I didn't need to take. And then I thought I might have these rook sacrifices because, again, if he takes, now he's pinned his rook. But then I thought then he could play knight d5, and I didn't have an easy way through. I thought maybe I could play e4, but then I'm self-blocking my bishop, and in that line, I'm down the exchange. And then I thought, okay, what's the weakness of the position? If we trade off everything, it's the fact that his rook isn't in the game. I said, how do I stop him from castling? Okay, I need to get a queen on this diagonal. And I looked at queen a3, and then I thought, well, what if he plays b4? He's splitting it, and with tempo, he's attacking me again. In a lot of lines, the a-pawn is weak if we make all these trades, but not if he does that first. And so I think I found the best move, the kill shot, or so I thought, queen d6. And the reason why I thought this was such a beautiful move is I'm preventing him from castling. I'm adding another attacker to this bishop. If he takes, it looks like he, I can't win this back. Oh no, I'm going to lose. No, because then he takes, and I take here. And we get this type of position. And I thought that this was good for me, because anytime he kind of backs off, obviously I can, well, not there, gobbledygook. He might have a check here. I just move back. And I thought the fact that he wasn't castled, and I will be able to maybe centralize, kind of get the pieces in the game, that this must be, like, good for me. So I saw all that. So that was if takes. If he, plays a move like this, which would be a losing move, what would I do here, guys? I would just take, of course. And then he takes back, and then what do we have here? We trade everything. Check. He probably has just moves here. Actually, yeah, and then I can just take again. Takes, and easy game. I have a whole piece. So all those tactics seem to work. So same deal if he played queen d7. I have this move because he can't actually take my queen because it's pinned. So then when he takes, then I have this, check. No, I would, sorry. This move, sorry, that's much better. And then takes. Excuse me, I had this move. In that line, I just win a rook, etc., etc. So basically, this looked brilliant for me. And he thought for a while, and I think he found the only move that keeps him in the game, I thought I saw a pussycat. I thought I saw a pussycat. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm going to just, I made the mistake, as you guys can tell, of, like, Entering the move wrong, and chess.com still can't fix it. You know, those of you that like Lee chess better will make fun of this for me. Anyway, he plays what I think is the best move, I think, where I don't think I have a tactical idea anymore, maybe. Possibly. Where he then plays Queen D7. Wait, does he play Queen D7 here? Wait. I thought I calculated this as a win for me. I thought I'm supposed to go here. No, maybe he was Queen. Did I mess up? Did I not? Shoot. He plays Queen D7. I thought bishop takes. Bishop. Rook takes. Queen takes. And I'm pinning him. Oh, did wait, I calculated this out to be winning for me, and then I messed it up. Did I really do that? I traded? I think I kept looking at, like, no. There's no way I would even consider that move with this knight here. Is this really how the board is? No, I have my knight on B3. Okay. You know what we're going to have to do? I messed up! So we got to just run it again. All the analysis stands. We're going to very quickly D4, D5, C4. We can almost do a song and dance. C4, E6. We'll miss out on the analysis I did earlier, but that's fine. We'll kind of like check things when we wreck things with the computer. Knight of 6, G3, D takes, C4. Oh no. Bishop G2, boom. C5, aggressive. Queen A4 check. Whoops, that's not the queen. Boom, blocks with the bishop. Takes. Pawn, maybe good, hopefully. I don't know. I definitely messed up somewhere. B5 with tempo. Queen C2 seemed like the natural spot. Knight A6, interesting move. I was not considering it, was not counting on it, but has a powerful, powerful idea. Bishop D2, I thought this made sense, trying to take this away. Boom, 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 boom. Rook C8, labeling up on my queen. I've got issues. I take pawn, thinking he's going to go knight takes. He still sets up all these discoveries. Doesn't do it. Plays bishop takes so that he can castle, but he didn't castle for whatever reason. Queen D3, centralizing queen. Maybe I get something out of it. Knight B4. Attacking, I pretty much have to just takes, block with a knight. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful baby from a beautiful lady. Queen C7. Mate threat. Castles, just castles away from it. Seems good. Bishop C6. Blunder! Now I have the pin. Boom. Babo's coming back. Rook AC1. Bishop takes. Okay, here we are. Now, after going knight takes to open up, now I have the pins. Pins to wins. Same situation, same deal. Oh, right. He plays Queen B7. He breaks the pin. There we go. And that was the position where I thought maybe this was better, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter, right? Now when he goes here, this is where I do the deep calcs. Deep calcs, thinking about how to punish him. Yeah, Queen B7, this makes sense. When this is where I play Queen D6. After a long think, initially wanting to go Queen A3 to stop him from castling, but not liking this move. Wondering if I have tactics like this, takes, and then boom, I'm zeroing in. But if I play a random move, let's say here, I thought once he plays the knight out here, blocking my skewer, I'm not really sure I had anything. I thought maybe here, hitting both the rook, whatever that piece is called, and the pawn, and maybe this over here. I don't know. I know I had a lot of tactics there, but I wasn't sure what was best. Anyway, I played this move. This is where I spent 25 minutes, guys, like in this position. So I'm most concerned and curious what the computer thinks. He now plays knight d5, and this is where I play knight b3. And this is my idea. I did a long think. He can't castle. He can't play his rook over because then I just win his piece. So all his pieces are stuck. I saw that he had this move to take because I always could then retake and then retake. He wasn't winning anything, and my queen will have infiltrated. And I'm stopping his rook from getting involved in the game. That's his right. So I saw a nasty idea. I play knight b3, and I'm threatening knight a5. And as you guys can tell, if I can land knight a5 there, I'm hitting both pieces. I just win the game. The game's over. Funny enough, I also potentially have knight d4, but I don't think that's stronger. He can't move any of these pieces. He has to, and he's pinned. So this is the position where I think he played the best move, I think. Queen d7. And this is where I'm really curious. Like, every other move I thought loses. Like, he plays here. This loses, I thought. What does it lose to? I thought it loses to... Yeah, this, and still the same deal here. Because if he backs off, I win. Maybe he can play the... Maybe he can play the king up. I don't know. Maybe this is okay. I wonder if I wonder... maybe I go here? I'm not sure. All right, well, I did deep calcs here. I wish I could remember exactly what they were. Anyway, my idea for everything is knight a5 for the record. He plays queen d7. Just for the record, I'm trying to, obviously if he does something like this, I thought this, right, because I don't have the bishop check anymore because the knight's blocking. Yeah, that's right. I think this is what's going on. Anyway, he plays queen d7, and the whole time here, I'm thinking about trading as one option. I didn't like it because I thought that I'm doing a good job of keeping his rook out of the game. For the record, I do end up trading because I was worried about dropping my queen to e5, and I thought if he plays f6, I have nothing. I thought I was just worse here. Obviously, if I drop something like here, he can now still just play b4. I can't take here because it's protected, so I just didn't think I had anything. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. I thought I had to just trade. And the idea that I saw was queen takes on d7, bishop, and I wasn't sure if he was going to go bishop takes or king takes. He went bishop takes. For the record, if he went king takes, this I thought was still good for me. I think he was worried about a lot of, like, knight c5's checks. I don't think they do anything, all these discoveries. I told him that. Maybe I'm wiggling into a6. I thought it was better to take with the king. Instead, he takes with the bishop. And this is where we kind of transform the game. My man has spent a long time. He's already down to 20 minutes after, only playing 20 moves. I still have 45 minutes, maybe 50. So I have at least 30 minutes. I ended the game with 35 minutes or so. So I had a huge time advantage on him. So I had that one very deep think of like 25 minutes, and then a couple spots of like 5 minutes, and there's one more spot where I do a deep think. It's coming up. Don't worry, guys. I get one more deep think in. Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. All right. Bishop takes, and this is where I have a crazy calculation. I see this endgame, and I first off see, all right, well, this looks very symmetrical. Like, this isn't good, right? Like, maybe. It's equal pawns, equal pieces. His big weakness is that he hasn't castled, and his rook isn't on the game. And it is a big weakness, actually. I saw that I could transform the position. If I take, and normally you don't want to necessarily trade your bishop for the knight, but I thought that he takes. He has an isolated pawn, that maybe I can move my knight to d4. I can get the move e3 in, have all my pawns on dark squares, thereby kind of killing off his bishop. He is, again, basically good knight against bad bishop, where if we trade, where I have tempo, I also own the c-file, and I thought that those would be two decent wins to play an endgame where I'm better and I could play for the win in those spots. I thought that was enough, where I was clearly pushing. I didn't quite see a kill shot. I didn't see a tactic or whatnot, at least not immediately. I tried them all, or at least so I thought. And so I rip it. I rip and dip it, and I go into it. I didn't see any moves like, knight c5 being necessary, and I thought my knight was better than his bishop. His bishop seemed pretty bad. So I transformed the position. I go bishop takes on d5. He goes e takes. And my first idea was to move the knight. Again, get the knight onto c5, support it with b4, just slowly improve my position, kind of stack up my rooks, this kind of thing, or maybe on the d-file, I'm not sure. But then I actually calculated again, I saw that I'm winning a pawn. And I calculated all this, I'm very, very, very proud of myself. I then play rook check, and this is forced, we're going to take with the bishop, of course. And then I figured I could go rook c1 immediately. Again, more tempo, tempi. This is something I taught at Shed Library. It's funny, I was explaining to Anne the concept of tempi and basically making forcing moves where you're improving your position while forcing them to respond to you. And I saw that basically a lot of his moves are quite bad, to be honest. Basically, he can either let me get the file, or I saw I could take c5 and threaten both pawns. I wasn't sure how he was going to defend them. I thought his best move was bishop e6. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. And I thought I would take the 7th there. And again, I would just basically bust up his pawns. Nonetheless, rook c1, he plays king d7. He's trying to protect. And I didn't think that was the best move. He really needs to get this piece into the game. Something I taught. You got to get your pieces into the game. It's very, very important. I now play rook c5. My thinking was I'm going to win either of these pawns. He can't defend them both. Obviously, he can't move up. If he moves here, I just take. Funny enough, on his time, I was doing all these calculations. Why I was moving so fast is because I was calculating during his time. He plays, what is this? Rook c5. He plays king d6, blocking. And I saw if I go, he has this interesting move. And I did see this right away, where then I move here, he takes, I take. He might be able to activate. And like if he ever gets his bishop over here, lasering down, that maybe I'm actually in some trouble, like some mating threads. But I thought it would be a lot of pawns. Maybe I'd circle back, and if I could win the f pawn, I'm taking away the f3 sort of diagonal. So I was suddenly safe. So I chose to go into this after a little while. I really wanted to be able to play the move e3 at some point, so he'd have zero counterplay. But I thought that if I did that right away, he would support his pawn with a6. He goes into this. It takes him a while to find it, but it's the only line with active counterplay. And I basically calculated this, so I played pretty automatically. I play rook a5. This seemed necessary. Once I play that, he takes on e2, which is a little bit of counterplay. It's a little bit scary. I obviously take on a7. And this is where I didn't think he had bishop immediately. I thought maybe I could attack it, and then he moved back here, but then maybe I win the pawn. Or if he just goes there, I can win the pawn anyway. He actually moves his bishop all the way back to h5. He's protecting his pawns. And when we arrive at this endgame, my buddy here has like no time left. And by move 26, he was down below 5 minutes. You know, I had a lot. Where was I? I'm very proud of myself because around this position, when he plays back, actually I think it was exactly here, I spent 20 minutes in this position. He was down less than 5 minutes. In fact, I think in this position he had 3 minutes on the clock. And I had spent 20 to 25 minutes on that one other spot, and I spent 5 minutes on two other moves, so 35, and then maybe 5 minutes for us, 40. Yeah, I probably had 45, 50 minutes, and I got down to 30-ish, because I know I finished with around 30, and I wanted to calculate the win. And I hope I did it right, because I really buckled down. I said to myself, all right, 2 and 3 against 3 and 1. This is a little bit dangerous, but if I can basically control the d4 square, kind of the isolated pawn square in front of it, I should win. I might have interesting like lasers over here. He's defending the f pawn for now, and I hope I chose right, guys, because I actually worked at this. I wanted this win so badly. I thought f4 was weakening, but I saw that right now I'm taking away the c5 square, and if I could take away the e5 square, I could push his king back. And I knew that if I could cut his king off and centralize my king, I'd have a very, very easy defense. Because the only weakness in the position right now is the fact that if he ever could land the light square bishop, I have back rank mating issues, which is what he needs and could capitalize on. So I play f4. Now maybe this is wild, maybe this is crazy, maybe this is dangerous, but I saw when I check him, he has to move back, and his king is completely cut off from the isolated pawn, and I knew that then finally I'd be able to move up. I also calculated, because I had to be worried about either rook e8 or rook c8, and then infiltrating. And again, if I move up, oh boy, he can actually check me on e2, protected, and he can start to win all of my pawns. So I knew I needed to A, get his king back, and B, find a way to plant my knight on d4, taking away these very two important squares on c2 and e2. Because if I have those, he has no way of getting in with his rook. I can move my king in, and it's only a matter of time. You know, I could do something like h3, g4, bump it back, trap it, like that kind of idea. And that's what I saw. So not surprisingly, he plays rook e8. He takes the file. If he comes in, you know, check, and then he checks me again. Very big danger. I have to move back. So really, I probably would move up. He would check, and then you start winning my pawns. And I think I'm still better there, but I don't know if that's winning. And I start with a check, which makes sense, because this is what I calculated. And he thought for a while, like he had 3 minutes. He goes down to 20 seconds. Because it's tough. He doesn't know to go, like, he first was going to play e7, which blocks his rook, which I think is clearly wrong. And then he plays king c7 here, which I thought was right. However, then I saw these funky lines as far as checks, like maybe coming through, possibly, not just trapping his rook, but also trading out. So I thought in this position, if I could trade rook for a rook, given how close my king is to this pawn, I could basically plant my king on d4, and then just push the connected pawns against nothing, and his light square bishop wouldn't be able to stop me. And I thought that was winning by force. So I was pretty proud of myself. So king c7. When he moves there, I play knight d4, taking away these squares. Obviously, if he checks me, I can now move up, and if he tries to check me again, he loses it. And then I can obviously start pushing my pawns. And he plays kind of a sort of an in-between move. He goes down to 5 seconds. He goes rook e4. And at first my idea, by the way, and this is where I still have so much time, I spent 5 minutes in this move. My initial idea was just to play rook a4, thinking I was defending it, and I would be able to like build my pawns or get my king in a better position, because he has no threats here. I thought that it takes him a long time to start, he can't even move in there because it's taken away. Something like this. I play like b3. I don't know. I basically saw all these positions where basically my knight is living there forever, and if we can ever trade the rooks, then I'm winning, or at least so I thought. I don't know that. Of course, I'm saying that authoritatively, but I really don't know. When he plays rook e4, though, I thought I found a line, and then I realized that it doesn't work. So this is where, it's not good. I thought I could play knight b5, and if he moves in, I thought I have this fork, but it doesn't work, because then he just takes my rook. I check him, I take his rook, he takes the pawn, and I don't think I'm losing. I think I could gobble that pawn, but yeah, maybe I'm losing. He'd have a piece and I wouldn't. I'd have the outside pawns. Nonetheless, I thought that if he moves in, I could then slam my knight on c3, still taking away the e2 square, but more importantly, attacking both the pawn and the rook. He wouldn't be able to move his rook to e5 because my pawn is taking that away. So I thought, again, once this falls, he has zero counterplay. It's the only thing going for him in this position. But I think I actually make a slight blunder here, maybe. The good thing is I have all the time in the world to course correct, but this is probably an inaccuracy. I play knight b5 check. He was like, what is that move? And he just attacks my rook. And at first I was like, I've got this fork. And I was like, oh shit, then I'm going to lose my rook. What the hell did I just do here, Rob? And I realized my mistake. I take a deep breath. I said, okay, I can calculate this. No worries. It's okay. I said, let's just get behind the pawn. Yes, he can check me because I can run up. I think I'm safe on h3. I'll be able to win this pawn. Yes, maybe he gets a pawn back, but if I have the outside passer, maybe that's still winning, but I thought that maybe I messed up. Good news is he literally has 5 seconds, so it is what it is. I play rook d6. He plays bishop f3, which is tricky, because if I take, he actually can check. I think I can move there, and he takes, and I take. I don't even think it's that much of a trick. He has, no time left. But I just play knight c3, which is my plan anyway. I'm taking away the square. If he was to check, I could just move in. If he pushes, I just take. In this position, he has no time left. He very quickly plays rook e3. I play the obvious move, king f2, because I'm attacking both pieces. He's going to lose material. And he lets the 5 seconds flag down, and I win. And this is obviously completely lost for black. So that was the game. I'm happy with how I played, really. Let's turn on the engine, though, the computer. I took down Tyler. So Tyler is, Tyler Berry. 17-10, so a good scalp. Not the best player I've beaten, but or at least not the highest rated player I've beaten, but I don't have that many wins. I don't have that many games against 1700s, but it was a good win for me, and I felt pretty good. I was kind of happy with my decision as far as letting fate choose whether I was going to stay in the Open or not. I'm now 2 wins and 0 losses in the U1900 for January. Maybe a little cowardly dodging these very strongest players, but honestly, I don't feel that bad about it. There is a huge difference between a 1600 and a 2000. Less of a difference between a 1600 and 1800, obviously. But all right, whatever. All right, let's turn on the engine. Let's see how your dude did. I am curious how I messed up the opening because I definitely was worse until he blundered. So let's see how it plays out. I'm also going to heat up my tea because it's been 45 minutes and I've taken all of one sip. Good old QGD. So let me get to the first position where I know these moves by heart, obviously. G3 is a move. Yeah, and I did know that D takes C4 is the best computer move, but for whatever reason people don't play it that much. I see a lot more other moves. I see C5 sometimes. I see this bishop B4 and I know what to do against that. Yeah, this is what I do to answer it. But instead he just takes. And this is where I wasn't sure. I think on my notes, I wondered if this was any good. Knight e5. It's not. It's losing here because of knight c6. Okay. So that's not the right move here. I just played bishop g2. It is the right move. Okay, cool. Okay, so in my notes it is to ignore it, and it's fine to be down the pawn. You can even be down 2 pounds. All right, good. Phew! I really wondered how I messed this up. He plays c5, which is the best move, so he clearly knew this theory because he played great in the opening. Yeah, it is to castle. Although queen a4 check is the other idea, and it's good still. So I'm not disappointed with what I did. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about castling or queen a4. I really didn't know what was correct. Yeah, I should know this a little bit better. I know a lot of moves. Okay, it's still book. I know a lot of positions. This is what you do in like the Queen's Gambit accepted. But I wasn't sure about here in the QGD with like a Catalan or whatnot. All right. Bishop d7 is his best response. Me taking the pawn is best. All right, so all right, good. The good news is I'm playing like a pewter Schmidt computer, and so is my opponent. So we're playing well in the opening actually. I wasn't sure if I did the right stuff. They like queen b6 for him, which is a move he said he thought about playing. b5 is just as good. They're equal, and I thought b5 was good. It comes with force. It comes with gusto. They like my move. It's the best move. Queen c2, or it's one of them. All these moves are fine. Queen c3 might be better. Interesting. Again, queen c2, they're equal moves, so I feel pretty good about that. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Hey, look at that. The computer thinks his move is best computer move. Damn. Tyler played like a computer at this point. Maybe he knew this opening better than me, which is surprising because I know this opening pretty well. But knight a6 is the move. And this looked very scary. I saw this immediately. I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure if I should castle into this. I kept saying I wanted to play a3. a3 is a move. Do they not like my move? Bishop d2, they don't like it. Queen d1 is even a move. Makes sense. Get off this file. I don't think I'd ever play that in a real game because I've moved my queen like 4 times. Queen c4 to c2 to d1. But maybe it's okay. Apparently white's still better there. So this is a first like non-best move, but it looks like I'm playing pretty well. This computer doesn't hate that move. Apparently queen d1 is best. That's a crazy move here. Just playing here. Like I'm gonna be honest. Without knowing this, like from the computer, I would never play this in a game. Although it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. You're dodging any of this trickery. You're getting off of this c file. You're redeveloping where you're actually supporting your pieces. I don't think it's a bad move at all. It's the best computer move. And I think I should have also just castled, to be honest. I think castling would have been fine here. What was I afraid of? I was afraid of him jumping his knight to b4, but as the computer says, I can literally just ignore it, and here I can get my queen to a better position. I probably would go to b3 for the record. And the idea here is we're threatening like to take and stuff. And if he forces c4, now he just dropped d1. And it looks like he's winning a lot of tempo on me, tempi, but I still long-term have this tactic, it's just strong. Okay. All right, when he nails rook c8, this was the best move. This was after I played bishop d2. It makes sense. That's what I was thinking. C takes is also good. I thought that C takes was fine, and it looks like if he goes C takes, I'm not even supposed to take back. That's wild. I'm supposed to just castle. And that's what I mean in a lot of these positions. It's okay to basically fall behind a little bit, and the computer always kind of has your back, but it's still hard being comfortable. The computer says, despite having this as a threat, I should still just castle, and D takes is just worse. I could also just play queen d3 immediately. I was worried about queen d3 immediately, about letting him push the pawn. Yeah, c4 with force. It's a very obvious move, and it's a good move. And it looks like the computer wants me to literally move my queen again. Like, I'm sorry, I only have so many queen moves in me. I only have so many queen moves in me. It's funny, is we get a very similar position as we got in the game. Sort of. But that's what the computer likes at the end of all of that, and then taking back with the queen. I mean, that's like, the computer's recommending, out of 13 moves, like half of them, 6 of them or so are literally moving my queen around. All right, well, it is what it is. He takes back with the bishop. Was this the best move? I really thought knight takes was better. It's not. He played the best move as well. He crushed it in the early game. Damn. So this move is not great because it opens up the door for knight e5, really? Computer values the bishop pair so highly. I'd win the bishop for the knight, and the computer's arguing that that's enough to make white totally fine. Okay, good to know. Anyway, here, I'm gonna let the computer think for a moment because I'm gonna go warm up my tea. Be right back. Okay. So, alright, so basically, once we arrive at this position, bishop takes was best. They like the knight, they like the queen on d1, but, and I did say in the video, it felt like I was a little bit worse here, like hardly losing or anything like that, but like the advantage had swung to my friend here, Tyler. He has the bishop pair, he's more active, I'm a little bit behind in development, and my queen is a little bit, getting chased around. I didn't love my position. Yeah, knight b4, best move. I mean, he played the opening perfectly. Like, not just well, he played it perfectly. And I played it well, but not great, and because he played it perfectly and I didn't play great, I fell behind a little bit. I got a take, I took, he takes back with the bishop with check, I block knight b d2, they do like this move. The other move, I was considering slightly going knight c3. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to self-mate myself. Come on, computer. Come on, computer! Not going to do that. I block. Oh, that was the knight T. The microwave beep. I only did it for a minute. Hey, about that. What?
I'm going to get it for you.
Oh, thank you. That's very good. I'm still recording. Thank you, baby. So yeah, so basically once I take back with the knight, what do they like here? He plays queen c7. I am right. Look at that, guys. I was very afraid of bishop c6. I thought this was just the best move. Because I saw lines where I could castle. I thought castles, or castles trade. I've now isolated pawn, and he's got the double bishops. Yeah, I just thought I was like clearly worse. Like not losing or anything like this, but uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. I thought I could also push back. I was calculating a3 so many times. I was never able to play it, but it was always on my candidate move list. I'm sure I should have found a way to squeeze it in. And yeah, this is what I saw. Queen takes, obviously e takes, everything else is just losing. And yeah, in this position, I just thought his moves are pretty obvious, and my position's pretty open, like, not in a good way. Yeah, so when he moves his bishop back, castles, and I just have this awful d-pawn. He's got the double bishops, and he's going to be pushing these pawns. If he is going to, yeah, e7 and then swing the other rook in. And black is just better. Not winning, but better. Instead, when he plays queen c7, obviously he's got this mate threat. It's an inaccuracy. Yep, I realized he had this ahead of time. I thought I only had castling. Currently e3 is playable here. I guess because if he doesn't have that, because the shenanigans, because I can always just move my king up. But I just castle out of this. It makes sense, and already because he kind of missed his opportunity with the early c6 that he's like, it's basically completely equal. I've equalized, and I did feel that way. I had a breath of fresh air, and I was like, okay, opening didn't go great, didn't go my way, but I'm way up on time, and the position's not really that bad. He really should castle. I assumed he should have castled at some point. I was shocked that he didn't want to castle. And he plays bishop c6. And immediately when he played this, like, this is just a blunder. It's an absolute blunder. Because my move is so obvious. I wasn't sure. Computer hasn't made up its mind which rook it likes putting on c1. Obviously, I need a rook on c1. That's what opens the door. I thought the f rook belonged on the d file, which is why I used the a rook. But it looks like the two moves are basically the same. I wasn't going to waste that much time thinking about it. I just didn't see a position where the a file opened up, to be honest. So, yeah. So I played rook ac1, and as soon as I landed this, I thought I was better because there's just so many They're giving me an accuracy for this? The fuck? They're not. Screw you. Okay, computer, no. Like, no. I'm sorry, computer, but you're wrong. No. Alright, well, the computer is now thinking that rook fc1 is way better for reasons that are beyond me. Wish I knew why, because I thought my rook on a1 wasn't doing anything, whereas my rook on f1 potentially could go to the d file and could do a lot. I feel like putting your rooks on the right files is like one of the hardest things. Like, that's my own experience, because I feel like in all these games I have good reason for what I'm doing, and like the computer constantly is just telling me I'm wrong. It is what it is. All right, so he trades with his bishop. Apparently he should just get out of dodge now. He should just go like queen d7. Queen, but I'm just b7 is much worse. But he takes. I take back with the knight. They like knight d5. That was the move I was worried about. It's knight d5. I should play I should just try to double up, it looks like. I should just play rook c5, which was kind of the idea, kind of what I did. Just try to load up on the pin, essentially. But he doesn't do that. He plays the other move, which is reasonable. Again, only 2 moves in the position. Queen b7. And they like the very simple queen c3. Is my move garbage? They do like rook takes. Oh god, this is where I spent 25 minutes. I just couldn't make up my mind. And this is just a bad move. Oh god, I spent so... Yeah, you guys have no idea. I spent so long in this position. Jesus Christ. Queen c3. It's so obvious. Doi! I thought that I needed to stop him from castling, and I thought I needed to put a threat here. I thought that this move did it, queen d6. But apparently I can sacrifice. How does this line go? If I sacrifice, because I thought that he would always have queen to d5. Takes. Oh, because they want me to play knight b3 here. Knight b3, and I thought that he has this move. Oh, it's because... Oh. Because I just trade again. Takes. And then a... Okay, I see. And I'm going to win the... I guess I'm going to win the exchange back. And I'm up a pawn or something. This is +3 somehow. Oh, I see. Oh. So then I take the rook. He takes back with the queen. Oh, and I'm just messing with it. You guys see the tactic. Really, this is how you punish the fact that he hasn't castled. Because with queen e3, I'm coming in with check. And if he blocks, which is fine, apparently taking isn't even right. Wow. I would take on a7, but apparently the winning move, the crushing move, is queen c5. And now here, it's where you're stopping from castling. So his pieces are just so backed up. I'm assuming it's because you have like ideas here. So he has to play like f6. And now when I play rook c1, the threat is very clear. To go here, trade, and then you win the rook. Okay, and that would have been a very easy game. All right. Well, I played queen d6. I thought this was the best move. They're saying he should take. If he took, I was going to take on c8. He was going to take back with his queen, because he has to. I was going to take his bishop. Computer has me as +1.2. They like the check. I was going to just move back. I thought everything was fine. Oh, they like moving the knight back to f3. And he goes something like knight e4 to check the queen. And some reason I'm up equivalent of 1.2 pawns or so. If I can find queen b4 or queen a3, which makes sense. We're stopping him from castling, which is clearly the idea that I had. He has to play f6 to kind of break it open. And then, okay, a4, which threatens the pin. What would he do? Just running. And I guess I just win the pawn now? No, a takes isn't even that winning. Best move is just to centralize the rook. Rook d1. He goes a6. I mean, it's just interesting playing out the computer moves a little bit more. Because the idea is then rook d4 to basically check the knight. He drops back to g5. And then in this position, I guess I can attack the knight again with h4. We go trade. I obviously take back with the e-pawn because the queen is bearing down. And then in this position, I don't know why I'm still calculating stuff. It's just good for me, apparently pleasant. All right, well, whatever. All right. None of this happened. Let's go back in time. A stitch in time saves 9. I thought queen... I'm so disappointed to see this. I really thought I made a really high quality move. But the simpler move in this position is just queen c3. And, like, it's not that hard to find. Like, that's not that hard to find. Because he can't take, because then I take his rook with check. He takes with me. I take back with check. And then I'm going to win this piece. If he wins that, I go there, and then I'm just up a full piece. And that's just totally winning. I thought my move kind of did the same, but not quite. All right. He plays here. He's supposed to do those trades. Again, we played that out a little bit. He plays knight d5, and in this position, they like knight e4 better than knight b3. Okay, so I guess I just was really imprecise. It's such a shame. I really thought I played a good game. You're going knight e4 so that you can do what? Knight e4 here. What happens if queen d7? I just played a c5. Oh, and I'm threatening this fork. Knight d6 is what I'm threatening. Goes up to c6, and then I still have the check. He goes to d8, and now is when I take, and they say now is where I can go queen a3 because, I don't know, he can't castle through this. I'm defending this piece. If he trades, I just take back, and we're just continuously playing on the fact that he hasn't gotten his rook into the game. So the computer here wants like f5, and then a kill shot, if I have any, is just to trade. Because with trade, I can now literally just start taking pawns. I'm attacking the queen, attacking this pawn. Everything is good. Okay. Well, I guess I turned an easy game into a hard game. You know, gotta love that. I go knight b3. I thought this was the scary move. He plays queen d7, which was the best move. I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to move back. I consider this move. Oops, not that. I considered queen c5 here, but the problem is I didn't see what my follow-up was after bishop b7. They think I can just take the pawn. Computers, man. They're like, yeah, just take the pawn. Just take it. Just take the pawn, man! Just take it. I can even drop back to a3 here. And just playing, attacking the fact that he can't castle. Like, that's... at least I had the concepts right, I just didn't have the execution right. You know? Yeah, interesting. Queen a7, just to continuously make sure that he can't castle. Taking the pawn is not good anymore. Wait. No, taking the pawn is best now. Now they say taking the pawn is best. How does this not work? Okay, so rook checks the queen. I go back to c5. Okay, if he does a wild move, like takes here, this is where I play e4. Oh. And that's what allows me to get my other rook into the game. Makes sense. Okay, cool. That makes sense. All right, well, instead we go trade, and I've gone from a super winning game to just +1. And, yeah, I needed to keep these on. Queen d7, check. I did think queen e5 was an option, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do against f6. I was worried about this. They say h5 check. Oh, I start making checks on this side of the board. Maybe. What happens if he plays g6 here? What's the tactic? No tactic. I just play queen h6, and I'm preventing him from castling. Oh, that's why. Yeah, you just don't let him castle. He didn't want to castle this game, and he's going to get punished for it. That's it. That's the name of the game. That's literally it. Instead, I take, and we get an endgame where I was massively winning, apparently. I just didn't quite spot it. And he takes for the bishop. I am right, by the way. King takes is better. So that's at least good. Instead, bishop takes. And maybe finally, maybe I played well. No, they like trading the rooks first. Instead, I trade off the bishops, thinking that this is a result in good. No, they like, okay, they like the move. Phew! Phew! He takes back. Now they like rook takes on c8. All right, and now they finally like my plan. All right, well, I found the good, endgame situation, so that's nice. Bishop takes. Rook D1 is actually more accurate. Rook C1 is still pretty good though too. Basically attack this pawn. I thought that he could maybe just grip and dip. Thought it was better to take the open file. King D7 is what he played. Gets his king over. Best move. My original plan was better. They like my original plan better. Although Rook C5 is fine. But yeah, Bishop D4. Excuse me. Knight D4 with the idea of... Actually, they want to play F3 in that position, which I didn't understand. I thought I wanted to play E3 and put all my pawns on the dark squares. Instead, the computer wants to play F3. Wild. C3 apparently is good too. Nah, I was not considering that. So what's wrong with this move? Like, I'm attacking both of these pawns, no? Like, isn't this good? He goes D6. I have to take. And all of a sudden, the computer doesn't actually like my position that much. Because Bishop A6, which is the move I saw, and he eventually found. He's getting sufficient counterplay. Yeah, Rook A5 is the only move. So I'm basically... It's not so easy to win this. I've messed this up a bit. Rook A5 is the best move. He has to take on E2. We play these immediately. I take on A7. I thought this was obvious. And they like him going Rook C8 immediately. Which makes sense. Counterplay. It's all about counterplay, baby. Basically saying, screw this pawn, it doesn't really matter. He needs to try to win the pawns back. I would take on F7. That's what I would do. Instead, though, he plays a bad move here. They like... Bishop D3 with the idea of rerouting to E4 is really powerful, too. But instead, he makes my life easy with Bishop H5. And this is where I thought so long before I played F4, which obviously is just a losing move, you know, super. I need to check him first. But I thought if I checked him, he would move forward. They say he moves backwards here, but I thought that he would move forward. Oh, now I go F4. If he moves forward, now F4 is good. I thought I needed to make sure his king didn't get active here. And he can't. So if he plays E4 up, my follow-up is just king F2. And then what? Say he takes the file. He's getting like mated or something. If he moves up, he's just going to lose the pawn. And now his bishop is also under attack. So this order is a little bit better. Rook takes, and then here, if he takes here, I obviously can just win the bishop. And this is very simple for me to win. So he has to play like bishop to, let's say, G4. And then here I can literally just check him on D2. And this position is for me, a very routine win if we got something like this, because I have two pass pawns connected on the left-hand side of the board, 3 on 3. This is very, very simple. And his king somehow found a way to this side of the board. Interesting. All right. Instead, as we had said, none of that happened. I play F4 first, thinking I'm taking away this square so I can basically cut off his king. But I should have allowed his king to come in, because this is stronger, because I can get my rook in that way. He plays rook E8, which is the best move. Somehow king F1 is best. I played rook A6 check, which is also best. Okay. Because I thought here I'm pushing his king backwards. He had first reached for his king to go to E7, which I knew was going to be terrible and wrong. Instead, he moves to C7. I guess it's a really good thing I had a ton of time on him, because I was super winning and I actually did not really execute all that well. It felt like I was executing well. Knight D4, and it's basically equal again. Because he can play rook E4, which is what happens. And I've squandered this. Oh boy, chess is hard. Chess is hard. Chess is a hard game for me. Yeah, my idea was just to go rook A4 initially, thinking that I'm supporting this and I have everything on lockdown. I was going to push my pawns. And the computer says that's the best plan, which is not a very good plan. It's plus 0.2, which is nothing. I check him. Granted, he's also like out of time, but I swear I wasn't playing for the clock here, and I thought I saw the idea of like trading off and then basically just playing the knight against the bishop. He plays. I mean, no, he is literally playing moves on like increment. He plays the best move. I realize I made a bit of a mistake. They like rook a7 check here, but I'm basically game is equal. Instead, I play rook d6, which is still good for me, but yeah, he's supposed to check me, which I kind of assumed. Then I go to g2. Then he plays like e2 check, and the computer says I need to just perpetual. I wonder what happens if I ran up. I'm just kind of curious here. If this happened, rook e1 check, I obviously go to g2. And then he checks me again on e2. And how bad is it if I go into h3? Oh, it's still zeros. It's fine. Is there a perpetual here I'm not seeing? Oh, f5 is the perpetual. g4 is the only move. And now he just checks me back and forth. Huh. Okay. Well, instead he blunders. He plays bishop f3. I could even still take on d5. That's fine. Because this trick doesn't even work. I go here, and if he plays rook e1 check, I just have king f2. He would then take my rook, and I would take his rook. He could then take my pawn. But it's an endgame that's not super simple because, well, no, it's pretty simple. Because he has to use his king to blockade this, and I can basically get my king up over here. And this can, like, plant itself on, I don't know, d4 or something, blockading it. Yeah, all right, but... All right, so knight c3, excuse me, when we get back from this position, he does blunder here. His only move is the e1 check and just try to, you know, get me that way, maybe into a perpetual. Every other move is losing. Thankfully, he has no time left. He plays a losing move. And it looks like king f2 immediately was better. My move is second best, knight c3, attacking everything, taking away this square. And he plays rook e3, and I play king f2, and the game ends. Okay. All right. You know, just like a computer, you know, it's like you feel like you make some great moves, and then the computer says you didn't. And it's a good way to, yeah. It's a good way to, like, you know, make you feel not as good. All right, I've added it to the Boylston Chess Club January Swiss. Let's go do the review just to see how poorly... Oh, look at this day streak. They gave me an 85.1, which is still pretty good. I'm not going to, you know, be too upset. He played a very perfect opening. My opening was a little bit shaky. His mid-game, yeah, my endgame. They still like my endgame play. I mean, 86.6 in the endgame is still pretty good. All right, I mean, he had a slightly... Like, he had a strong opening. He had a slightly comfortable position. I was super winning, and I should have spotted the win. I kind of butchered it a little bit. In the endgame, I wasn't converting, but he was super low on time, and then at the very end, when he did flag, he was losing. So, all right, I mean, look, this isn't going to go down as one of my finest games. I thought I used a lot of calculation. I thought I was rather clever. I thought I was, you know, I was proud of this. I was proud of this, and now I'm not as proud of it. 85.1 is still pretty good. Tactics are hard. They continue to be. At least I had the right ideas, just the wrong execution of those ideas. Yeah, I'll stop the video here. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Onward and upwards. Let me just first do this, just to show the standings because of it, or pairings. I'm now on 2 points. I'm going to be playing. I don't know why they put me as unrated. That makes no sense. I'm going to play against Matthew Wesley. I beat him the first time we played. I think I was also black, so we get another revenge, or he gets potential revenge. If I win this game, I basically will win the section again. So a lot's riding on next week. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good one.